Namaskar and welcome to our series on entrepreneurship in the hospitality sector. Our focus today is how a business can introduce a new product in the market. My name is Amit Arora, and to help us understand this topic better, I'm joined by four entrepreneurs. Please welcome Sonal, Ayush Singh, Prakshi Heda, and Archit Jain. Welcome, everyone. So, Sonal, let me begin by asking you, you are the owner, founder of White Cub vegan brand, and you started this journey in 2013. And 8 years later, in 2021, you're also introducing, in addition to the various colorful ice creams, butter. How has been the journey so far?
Yeah, thank you, Amit, for having me over. It's been a wonderful experience. So when we started our ice creams in 2013, we actually never looked at ourselves as an ice cream brand. We were more into the space of dairy alternatives. And because back then in 2012, 2013, people were not really aware about the importance of going dairy free. So we picked up the easiest dairy alternative as a product to begin the market with, because ice creams are yummy, tasty, and enjoyed by all generations across. That was the main reason why we started our journey with ice creams. But yes, having said that, once you are into an entrepreneurship mode, and once that entrepreneurship mode starts fading away, and you are increasingly steeping into the business core practices, you tend to get so much submerged into the operational challenges that going out of the way and thinking with a focus on innovating and on creating new products has its own challenges for a bootstrap business. And that is why I think we took so much of time, I'll say, in introducing our widely awaited and our long time awaited second product, which is butter. So very proud to do it in a dairy free version.
So congratulations for that. Ayush Singh, your thoughts when a business introduces a product upfront when they're starting, and how do you see the duration? Say, for example, in White Cub's case, 8 years before they diversified into butter space as well.
Yes, thank you. First of all, so I think by introducing a new product in the market, business really segments itself into the market, like they have the strengths and weaknesses. So in ma'am's case, I think ice cream was her strength. So that's why she focused more on ice cream that time. And she thought, why not? I'll just build this ice cream business, and then I'll introduce more of my other products after I get some success with my ice cream. So I think once you start seeing some traction in your first product, only then I think you should diversify. Otherwise, there's no meaning in diversifying a lot. That leads to a lot of problems if you diversify a lot in your businesses.
Okay, so you're saying that slow and steady wins the race. First of all, firm up your existing customer base. Prakshi Heda, do you think that when we talk about vegan products, it's essential that you build a customer base, and once they have a liking for one of your products, then you can probably move to expand and bring in new products?
So I completely agree, like slow and steady wins the race. So it is a very niche market. India is still developing a taste regarding the vegan products now. People have become more aware about it now. Like I think 5-6 years back, a lot of people were not even aware about dairy free or why should we do it. But it has recently been a very big change in the consumption pattern. So it was a very good start when you start with one product and then you go on to second, because then you know what is your market, what is your customer segment, what do they need, because we are making products for customer needs. So till the time we don't know what is the need, we can't expand. So starting with one product really gives you confidence, understanding what does the customer wants, and second, you understand your database and you cater to them properly.
So Archit Jain, as a hospitality professional who understands India's hospitality and also the global outlook, do you think the segregation we did so far in our diets, vegetarian, non-vegetarian, is there increased consciousness about being compassionate and considering vegan option too as a choice?
I think, thank you for that question, sir, first of all. And I think globally there is a shift towards veganism, towards dairy-free products. And even if people are not going vegan, if people are not going dairy-free, they are still looking towards cruelty-free options. They are looking towards cruelty-free farming and sustainable farming more so than what we have experienced up till now on, which is a lot of unsustainably farmed meats, dairy products, as well as a lot of these not just food products, but also things that are used in cosmetic products, things that may be used in other types of like shoe polish and things like that, were farmed unsustainably. And we as a society are now moving towards a more sustainable future in these regards.
So Sonal, if somebody has opted for a vegan choice, of course they'll enjoy the different flavors of the ice cream White Cub offers. When you thought of diversification, how did you finalize at butter? What are the other products your business considered?
So for us, the staples, which means that the regular dairy items which are used in an average Indian household were on our radar list, so to say, because for us, encouraging people to break away from the conditioned minds which actually impel them to continue to use products which sometimes they are themselves convinced in their own heart that perhaps it's not so right for their own health or for the environment, but they just continue to use it in the absence of a better version. So I mean, this is what we are coming across in butter. It's being received with such a warm response by across all the people till now, whomsoever we have touched till now in our outreach. Yeah, so I think it's, Amit, what was the question? I think I'm losing the drift.
Yeah, I was wanting to know that there are so many products that can happen in vegan. How did you finally choose butter?
Yeah, because butter is, like as I said, it's a staple. It's one of the staple foods when it comes to dairy items, milk and milk products basket. One was this, and the other is that it is. I mean, it is. I mean, for us, it was easily replaceable. So it does not. It did not really require much of rocket science. At least that's what we thought. I agree that we took 7 to 8 months of intensive, focused work on developing the perfect recipe. But having said that, we were very sure of that we will pull this off very easily once we are focused on doing it. So at White Cub, we have always believed on not doing something halfway around, halfway up in terms of incomplete customer satisfaction. So either we do a product or we don't do a product. If we do a product, then we have to do it in an ace level. So that is why the butter.
Yes, and as I see this picture, help our viewers understand this is plant-based, has vitamin B12 and D, so that's very good, green ticks. But when we say it does not have palm oil, trans fats, fractionated oils, interestrified fats, with that cross, does that mean this is more health friendly?
Yes, Amit, thank you for the care with which you have put it, like health friendly. Yeah, so it is indeed a healthy substitute of dairy butter. And why do I say that? Because one, it does not have cholesterol. It does not have the toxins which usually get found in adulterated milk from which finally the butter is made. And in these times when so much of adulteration of milk is happening, you never know from what is the real source of the genuine milk from which butter is being made. Apart from that, when we talk of dairy-free butter, it was very easy for us to make unhealthy vegan butter by using what is called interestrified fats, which is nothing but a main ingredient of, say, dalda ghee, to simplify in a common man's language. And also palm oil is another nasty ingredient, nasty in my own little bit of learned opinion, whatever I have picked up from researching in different nutrition and science and health journals. So palm oil isn't really a good ingredient to be had at least on a regular basis in our health foods. And because with butter, we were thinking of its usage as a staple level. So definitely no palm oil for us. And B12 and D, while Government of India has given it a mandate to compulsorily enrich all the typical dairy ingredients like butter and R1 as well with vitamin A. B12 and D, we took it upon ourselves willingly because all the populations across are having marked deficiency of both these vitamins, vitamin D, because we are all living in air-conditioned houses these days, air-conditioned malls. So the sunlight is not really benefiting us. And so that is why, and D, by the way, comes in two forms, vitamin D2 and D3. D3 is the non-vegan version. So we have opted for vitamin D2 and B12 because B12 is by default not present in a vegan diet. And but deficiency of B12 is found again in all populations across, both vegans and non-vegans. So that is why we thought of giving the benefit of fortification, enrichment of our butter by these two vitamins to all our customers. So I think that really covers up the entire nutrition profile of our butter.
Right. So are you saying once the business is confident of their product, what are other aspects that one needs to consider? Market research? Do we do testing? When do we launch the project?
Yes.
Ayush.
So after developing a product, we need to target our audience. We need to find our own niche. We can't really cater to everyone in the market. Once we have decided on that niche, we can do market testing. For example, you can do small kiosks in malls. You can give out free samples, and once if that acceptance rate is there in the market, you can then go ahead and launch your own product, because the people are liking it. And if people aren't liking it, you can make changes in your own product, from the people's opinions and things which is say whether it be bad or good. So I think you should keep on developing your product until it's the best, and only then you should introduce it in the market.
Right. Prakshi, help our viewers understand this particular chart where we say create the right product from target customer to the value proposition to the feature set.
First, whatever product we want to make, we need to find the right target customer. And because all customers' needs are very subjective. If I want something, the other person might not want it. Setting up the same kind of needs is very difficult, and you cannot cater to every need. So you need to be very smart enough to decide what we can cater to and what we can't. So you have to say no to a lot of needs, what customers even want. And that's how you fix your product and the market. And whatever your USP is after the product, for like butter and this, it's vegan, it has B12 and everything. So that becomes the USP in selling. And right now, everyone is so health conscious. No one wants to, take risk with their health. So that time, this is the right time to market such products. And you should market it to social media, because that is the best platform right now.
So if we want to create an online presence, given post-COVID, digital media has become so powerful, Archit Jain, what could be a possible strategy for increased, impactful online presence for a new product?
For a new product, I would say if you already have an established market presence, if you have a presence on social media, I would say use that as a leverage to first build a little hype, get a few teasers out about, oh, we may be launching something new, we may be doing something different. And then once you see that there is some traction on those posts on that sort of content, and that is when you sort of concretely tell them that this is the date where something big will happen, and this is the date where we will take out our new product and we will be launching it. Other than that, you can also come up with certain schemes and discounts and things like that, where you tell your customers the first 100 or the first 500 will get something extra, or will get it at a discounted price, or something like that, to sort of generate some momentum behind the new product before it is even come out.
So Sonal, to push a new product, say in your case, the vegan butter, did you also embrace any of such incentives or came up with some schemes so that people come to know about the product?
Yeah, so Archit is spot on, right? Yeah, and thanks Archit for that answer. Yeah, so we did create a pre-launch special, offer scheme for our clients on Instagram. Our customer base is essentially on Instagram, not so much on Facebook. So the first, in fact, earlier than this, our first one was pre-launch. So we were pre-booking the orders. So this was the pre-booking went live before the first consignment of butter reached our premises, and this was first. And second one was, of course, the incentives, as the slide which we had showed. By now, we are also doing combo offers on our website, which is so we are making a combination at good, nice price discounts for of our ice cream coupled with our butter. So that is again like combining the already set product with a new product. But yeah, we have not really given free on the whole, like a complete free unit to our customers, because then they tend to undervalue. I mean, I have seen it in my own experience. My experience has been this till now in this regard. And yeah, Amit, I must share with you, I think this is the right juncture to actually come up with a surprise. So White Cup is actually genuinely coming up with the third product tomorrow.
Okay. So, wow.
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah. So yeah, very, very good fun. I mean, it got timed like this. I mean, I was like, I said, wow, it's, this thing had to come today. And yeah, so this is going to be dahi. And for now, we are launching it from our parlor day after tomorrow. Tomorrow, the packaging is finalizing, and, the product has been made. So it has come out really well. And yeah, so I mean, so this is what really happens, when you initially the growth is on a different scale, and then you grow exponentially. So now that the confidence has built up and the customer base is set, so but never to take the customer lightly, and we still regard every customer feedback as if it were our first interaction with the customers. So yeah.
Absolutely. So double congratulations. Not only you are introducing the butter, but very soon it's dahi also that the vegan consumers will get access to. But Prakshi Heda, your thoughts? When we have a new product, how do you see the two scenarios? Offering something free or providing some incentives or combo, but no free, so that one can still have value for that product?
So I think now India has started understanding the value with the help of pricing. So when we start giving anyone anything for free, they don't value it. They don't even remember it. I would say even I don't remember a lot of things that have been offered to me. But when I pay something for it, that is the time I remember, and I talk about it to other people that, yeah, I got it at a discounted price though, but it was very good.
Okay.
So I would always go with a bundling kind of a promotion package than just giving it for free. So that even my cost is getting, it's not getting heavy on me. And second, I'm even promoting marketing my product with my other products, so that it's a bundle package becomes very easy for the customers also and for the manufacturers also.
Okay. Ayush?
Like people using Swiggy and Zomato these days, you must have seen on the checkout page, you can see add-on options in the last, where you have your own normal one if you order 1 or 2 dishes, and then you can add on the other things as well. You can add on drinks, you can add on sides, you can add on many things. So I think rather than giving it free, so I think I agree with Prakshi and ma'am that making it an add-on is a very good thing, because people don't really value free things in India, especially they want everything free with the quality and the quantity. But that is not the case when it comes to business. You have to make money out of it, and yes, that is what I think.
Right. I think till now in English we had the proverb, there are no free lunches. Now we can say there are no free ice creams, there's no free butter, there's no free dahi too. But Archit Jain, to the other point Sonal mentioned, and that was about pre-orders while launching a new product. Help our viewers understand, what do we mean by pre-orders, giving early access to consumers?
So pre-orders are generally once you've told the customers that a product is going to come out on X date, but you already want to put some momentum behind it, so that it honestly helps the business also, in the sense that you already have generated capital before you've even shipped out products. And for the customer, it gives them a sense of exclusivity. It gives them a sense of sort of being in this elite club of people who have been lucky enough to take part in or have the product before it comes out for the rest of the public.
Right.
So it's a sort of good feeling for the customers, but it's also a very good way for entrepreneurs or for businesses to generate hype, generate momentum, as well as sometimes capital behind a product that has not come out.
Okay, Sonal, I'll request you to see this particular picture, and this is about innovation, how we start working on the next version. And for phones, when it comes to testing, one of the ways could well be this, but how do you ensure the quality of your product?
Yeah, so at the level of like a procedural thing, if it helps the discussion here, every Saturday is fixed as an ice cream tasting day in our office premises, where we get to sample all the flavors which have been made in that week. And yeah, and continually, actually on a serious level, continually auditing the source of the ingredients. I maintain regular contacts with the suppliers, and with the right, also the right balance of imported and Indian ingredients, Amit. So I mean, that is another component which actually goes into the efficacy and stability of our product, I'll say. So when we test our product, we are also ensuring that the product remains stable, remains standardized. That is one parameter of our, test being, coming out as a good result. Within which I do take care of this part as well. That I mean, no point in using imported ingredients if then suddenly the supplies can get stopped, which does sometimes happen. So we take a very fine balance between using those imported ingredients where they are genuinely needed for the sake of giving clients a genuinely healthy or a premium experience. Otherwise, we are all desi in our company and use as much as possible of Indian lot. And as far as the ingredients are concerned, and testing the product, I think the customers are the final people out there. तो live testing जो होती है जब होती है तो मजे आते हैं उसमें कभी कभार, but yeah, we take it in a stride and with all humility and with that yes, I mean we ought to cover the miles ahead. When you did show the photograph of that phone series, in my mind actually there was this awesome brand coming which is called Perfect Day, Amit. So they are US based. I think one of the persons there is of Indian origin, and they have actually perfected the art of creating the perfect milk protein without using any of the animal milk substance. And so that is the final word, so to say, till now in the evolution of dairy alternatives. So milk protein, but without, I mean, milk, but at the level of biochemistry, it's absolutely milk, dairy milk, but without a dairy component. So yeah, so evolution has to happen, and testing also continually needs to happen.
And it's a sheer coincidence that we're recording this on Friday evening, which means tomorrow is Saturday, the sample testing day. Final round, as you said, customer feedback is paramount. Ayush Singh, help us understand how do we innovate based upon customer feedback? And sometimes we also hear this word UGC, user generation content. Is that also part of the customer feedback?
So I think especially in FMCG, customer feedback is very big. If a customer gets reaction by using your product, that is a very serious issue. And I think you need to bring about changes in your own product. Coming to UGC, I feel it is an add-on of customer feedback, feedback. So yes.
Okay. Archit, can you also help us understand the UGC concept better?
So UGC, or user generated content, is generally seen as when someone uses your product and creates something new from it. So for example, in the picture, I think what was depicted is when someone used White Cub's butter, the vegan butter, to create cookies, to make cookies. And so they have shared that with the world. And so this is a prime example of user-generated content where they have taken the company's product and they have created something new out of it.
So Sonal, that must be really flattering then?
Yeah, Amit, yeah. I mean, it feels nice, yeah, that the product is reaching the right people, and yeah, it's being talked about, and people are giving us that that humble on our part, that yeah, they're giving us that support of spreading the word digitally as much as possible, because we thrive on organic support, and we really thrive on organic outreaches.
Yes, absolutely. Because more and more people and consumers have also become health conscious, and there's more focus on organic food. Prakshi Heda, if there are customers out there, investors, stakeholders who would like to reach out to you to seek your advice to diversify, expand, launch their projects, what's the recap that you can do and how they can reach you?
So to reach us, they can always mail us at abstractthinkers@gmail.com, and we do help with social media marketing, how to launch a product, what are the things that need to be done. We make the SOPs. So anyone who wants to reach out to us, they can mail it to us, and accordingly we can set up a meeting.
Okay. And Prakshi, we've talked about ice cream, butter, dahi. What could be the fourth product that Sonal could launch, according to you? Same question to Ayush, Archit too. Yes, Archit?
Plant-based milks, like there are a lot of milks out there. I think tofu instead of paneer is also a big thing in India, because a lot of people who are vegetarians love to eat paneer.
I think for fitness freaks like me, plant-based proteins, so I don't really use plant-based protein, but there are a lot of people who do. So plant-based proteins, plant-based supplements, allergen-free supplements.
Okay. Prakshi, do you think that people may still have apprehension? Does it taste differently when they have a vegan ice cream or any vegan product vis-a-vis the ones that we've been having all these years?
I honestly don't think so now, because it is almost the same. And 90-20, it happens with different kinds of brands also. So now people have been very open-minded when it comes to changing their lifestyle, tourism or whatever. So they don't mind the sacrifice a little bit. So it is just a 90-20 combination, nothing else.
Okay. Final word to Sonal. You started out with a vision in 2013. 2021, you were achieving a hat trick of products. What's your vision for the next 10 years?
Yeah, so vision is a total of 10 different types of products across 50 countries and an annual revenue of rupees 100 crore.
Wow, that's clarity and that's innovation, and that is introducing a new product. All the best to you and your brand, and to all the entrepreneurs for having such enriching discussion to foster innovation. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you very much.